I never imagined one moment, one accidental glance, could unravel everything I thought I knew about my life. But that afternoon, in the silence of my own home, I stumbled onto a secret so powerful, it didn't just shake me, it destroyed us. It started like any other day. The house was quiet, too quiet, except for the faint thump of bass drifting down from upstairs. My stepson, Daniel, was in his room again, headphones always around his neck, music pulsing through the walls. At 22, he was caught somewhere between boyhood and manhood. Strong shoulders, sharp features, but still carrying that nervous energy of someone trying to figure out who they are. I had watched him grow for years, from an awkward teenager into the young man he was becoming. Our bond wasn't loud or obvious, it was stitched together in the small, quiet ways. A laugh shared during a bad comedy, a late-night chat about his college classes, or me slipping an extra sandwich into his lunch bag when he stayed late at the community college. But that day, something in me shifted. Maybe it was the way the house felt so still, the sunlight pouring through the kitchen window, the glass of iced tea sweating in my hand. Maybe it was the restless hum beneath my skin, a whisper I couldn't quite name. I set my glass down and climbed the stairs. His music grew louder with each step, the beat vibrating through the hallway. Daniel's door was cracked open just enough for a sliver of light to spill out. I hesitated, my hand hovering above the doorknob. I should have knocked. I should have turned away. But curiosity tugged harder. "Daniel," I called softly, my voice barely carrying over the music. No answer. I nudged the door open a fraction and froze. What I saw stopped me cold. Daniel was sitting on the edge of his bed, his posture relaxed but focused, his brow furrowed. It took only a heartbeat to understand what was happening. An intimate moment. Private. Unguarded. My breath caught in my throat. Heat rushed to my face. I knew I should back away, close the door, pretend I'd seen nothing. But I didn't. My feet refused to move, my eyes drawn to him, not to the act, but to his expression. Vulnerable. Exposed. Human. It was a side of him I'd never seen before. And then his head snapped up. Our eyes met through the narrow gap in the door. The world stopped. His face shifted from shock to embarrassment, his hands fumbling to cover himself. My own words tangled in my throat. I'm so sorry, I stammered, retreating into the hallway, my face burning. Daniel's cheeks were flushed. "I didn't know you were there." His voice cracked with humiliation. I should have knocked," I blurted, gripping the banister like it could steady the chaos inside me. We stood there, both red-faced, both unsure. Then, surprisingly, he gave a nervous chuckle. "Guess we're even now. Remember last summer? You forgot to lock the bathroom door." The memory struck me hard. I had brushed it aside at the time, but now it resurfaced with startling clarity. My lips curved into a shaky laugh. "You've got a point." For a moment, that shared memory softened the awkwardness. But beneath the laughter, something subtle had shifted, something I couldn't name, but felt deep in my chest. Later that evening, Daniel came downstairs. His expression was hesitant, his voice softer than usual. "I'm making tea. Do you want some?" I nodded, and in the kitchen, we sat across from each other, steam curling between us. He avoided my eyes at first, but then he spoke. "I've been thinking about what you said earlier, about not needing to be who everyone expects me to be. I don't know how to do that. I feel like I've spent my whole life trying to meet standards I never set for myself." His words pierced me. I leaned forward, my voice gentler than I intended. "Daniel, it's okay to feel that way. You're still figuring yourself out. You don't have to have all the answers right now." His eyes lifted to mine, wide and uncertain. "What if I don't like who I am without all that?" My chest tightened. I wanted to reach across the table, to ease the doubt weighing him down. "You're still you, Daniel. The expectations don't define you. You're more than that." He gave a faint smile, but it was lined with fear. "You make it sound easy." "It's not easy," I whispered, "but it's not impossible." The moment stretched between us, thick with unspoken thoughts. His gaze lingered, and I felt a pull I didn't dare name. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed everything, the vulnerability in his eyes, the tension that hung in the kitchen, the way his words echoed long after he'd gone upstairs. Against my better judgment, I found myself outside his room. The door was ajar, a soft glow spilling into the hallway. My heart pounded. "Come in," his voice called quietly. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, shoulders tense, hands clasped. His eyes were shadowed with sleeplessness. "I couldn't sleep either," I admitted softly. We talked in whispers. About fear. About expectations. About how hard it is to know yourself when the world is always telling you who to be. He spoke with a raw honesty I'd never heard from him before, and every word tightened the invisible thread pulling us closer. When my hand rested on his arm in comfort, his breath hitched. He looked at me, his eyes filled with doubt, longing, and something more. "I don't know what I'd do without you," he whispered. My heart ached. "You'll never have to find out." Our hands brushed, lingered. Neither of us pulled away. The air thickened, the silence humming with electricity. And then it happened. Daniel leaned in, hesitant, giving me every chance to turn away. But I didn't. His lips brushed mine, gentle, tentative, full of questions we both were too afraid to ask. When we pulled apart, our foreheads touched, and for the first time, the truth hung between us, unspoken but undeniable. I wanted to tell myself it was nothing, just a mistake. But deep down, I knew better. A line had been crossed, and nothing would ever be the same again. The next morning, I sat at the kitchen table with a notebook open in front of me. I wrote about boundaries, about the cost of secrets, about how dangerous it is when love and loyalty blur into something else. Because the truth is, once a secret is exposed, you can't put it back in the dark. And sometimes, it destroys everything. If you've ever faced a secret that changed your life, share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Broken Vows for more stories of love, betrayal, and the dangerous lines we sometimes cross.